Hello guys, Brad here again with another fragrance review. Today I want to look at a fragrance from the house of Jimmy Choo. I haven't reviewed anything from Jimmy Choo yet, so this will be my very first one. This one's called Jimmy Choo Blue, and this is a little Sephora sample that I got. This one's a woody aromatic, came out in 2018, so it's nice to get some of these new modern releases reviewed. Top notes include clary sage, black pepper, bergamot, and lavender. Middle notes are leather, cypress, ambergris, apple, and pineapple. And in the base, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver, and patchouli. So, like I said, I got this from Sephora. And if you're not aware, if you go to a Sephora, they do make you free samples. You can request up to 3 samples, and they will decant a tester into one of these little things here with Sephora on it. I think this looks like it holds about 2 mLs, or maybe even a little bit more than 2 mLs. So you'll get quite a few wearings from one of these little tester atomizers. And yeah, I have a Sephora pretty close to where I live. I live about an hour away from Morgantown, West Virginia. So I went to the Sephora there, and it's one of those Sephoras inside of J.C. Penney's. So I was told that the selection at the J.C. Penney's Sephora's isn't quite as good as the standalone Sephora stores, but they did have 3 of the Jimmy Choo's, some Mont Blancs, and Polos, stuff like that. So I got a couple of Jimmy Choo's, the blue and the ice, and then also Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. So I thought I'd start with um, Jimmy Choo Blue. Also, big shout out to the sales associate at that store. Her name's Logan. Very helpful, and she was great. Very excited to work with her and get these free samples. So, Logan, if you're watching, thanks for your help here. As for the fragrance itself, well, when I heard that this was Jimmy Choo Blue, I thought, well, maybe this will be like one of those sort of Bleu de Chanel type knockoffs or Devon Blue. Um, because I do think that Bleu de Chanel is sort of like the golden standard in the fragrance world for the blue fragrances. Or you could go a little bit old school, maybe go back to like Cool Water with that cologne type note and go in that direction. But this one here, as many other people have already stated in their reviews, is not really an aquatic blue oceanic type fragrance. I think the prominent note here is this vanillic note here. When I say vanillic, it's like a molecule. I think that they recently came out with because a lot of new fragrances are using this accord. And some people do compare it with Armani's "Stronger with You." I would maybe say like Yves Saint Laurent's "Why," and even recently Calvin Klein "Reveal." They all seem to have this like sweet vanillic accord in them. It's almost like an evil scientist went to the fair, grabbed a bag of cotton candy, took it back to his laboratory, and synthesized a molecule with sort of like a cotton candy vanillic smell to it. I kind of get that here. So, like a vanillic cotton candy sweetness. You do get, some of the citrus here. And the citrus here is pretty basic. You got the bergamot and the pineapple, which is pretty standard for a lot of men's fragrances. A touch of black pepper. It's not easy to pick up on. It took me a few wearings to start to pick up on the black pepper. So a little bit of spiciness from black pepper. It also says clary sage. So a little spice there. And as far as the lavender, as far as the vetiver and the patchouli go, I do pick up on something here. It has sort of like a harsh chemical vibe to it. So maybe it's like a synthetic patchouli vetiver. So I wasn't really impressed with that aspect of the fragrance. But if you like sweet, kind of slightly spicy, vanillic citrus type fragrances with a modern feel, this one should do the job. It is pretty basic in my opinion. It's nothing with a lot of wow factor. At least with Reveal, which I recently reviewed and kind of liked. It had some interesting accords in there, like a brandy note and stuff like that, that give it some uniqueness and different feel. But this one just kind of seems to throw in a lot of the kitchen sink notes that most other modern day fragrances are using, and it just comes out with sort of a bland flanker fragrance. It's certainly something that if you're new to fragrances and you like sweet, almost cotton candy like fragrances, you'll probably enjoy. But if you've been around a little bit like I have, you'll probably won't find too much excitement in this one. So let's get into some final scores. The smell, I'll say 6 out of 10. A little bit sweet for my taste anyway. I think this would probably be best for like high school, college, maybe a few years out of college, 35 and up. You might want to get something a little bit more, you know, masculine sensibility to it. Projection and longevity, I'll say 3 to 5 hours, uh, especially in the first half hour to an hour, I think is where you're going to get most of your projection here. So I'll say 7 out of 10 on this one. I think some people do get good performance here. Some people complain that it doesn't last long. So it might vary from person to person and how many sprays. Versatility, I'll say 7 out of 10. I think this one would probably be a better fragrance for like cooler spring, fall days. In the hot heat, that sweet vanillic quality could be a little bit cloying, I think, but I think you can still pull it off on a cooler summer night. Um, Price point, I saw discounters have this one 3.3 ounces, $40.94. So, really not a bad price for a fragrance that's only been out on the market for a year or so. So, if you're looking for something modern, kind of sweet, a little spicy citrus to it, but nothing too different or daring, this one might do the trick. Check it out. It might be a little bit cheaper than some of the other designers out there that just came out that have a similar vibe. So for me, overall, 6 out of 10. Not really for me, but I certainly can see why some people might enjoy it, like that sweet citrus, spicy kick. So those are my thoughts on Jimmy Choo Man Blue. Thanks again, Logan, for hooking me up here. I'll be talking a little bit more about Sephora decants in the future. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later.